Welcome back, everyone. Week 3 previews and analysis right here on the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. This video for the game between the New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings. This game will take place in New Orleans, and certainly the Superdome will be rocking this week. It'll be the home opener for the New Orleans Saints, who come home with a record of 0-2, maybe a little bit unexpected, and now they welcome in the Vikings at 1-1. Great performance in Week 1 for the Vikings on the road. They followed up with a little bit of a stinker performance last week at home against the Patriots. And, you know, the Vikings, how long does it take for them to get over the missing Adrian Peterson, and do they ever get over it? I think it's quickly becoming, you know, the story of the Viking season here. You know, Adrian Peterson obviously going through his stuff off the field. Looks like he's going to be suspended until that stuff sorts itself out. And when you have Matt Asiata and company at running back, and now a quarterback in Matt Castle, who, you know, he's a journeyman, probably like a top-flight backup type quarterback. He's your starter without a plethora of weapons on the outside, you know, outside of Cordero Patterson and maybe Kyle Rudolph. You know, who else does he really have that are game breakers for him to get involved here? I think that shows itself even more when you don't have an Adrian Peterson in the backfield, you know, to get, you know, maybe that player or two more in the box on certain looks. So, you know, that offense, I think, is going to struggle until those players come back, and it'll be up to a defense, and most notably a defensive line, to get after opposing quarterbacks. Because if you look at the strengths of this Vikings team coming into the season, it was the defensive line, it was the running game, and it was Cordero Patterson. Those are the strengths of this team. Let's see if you can get a little bit more out of that defensive line in terms of a pass rush this week, especially against Drew Brees. Because if they can't get after Drew Brees at home, coming home after losing 2 straight games to start the season, this game could get ugly really quick. So whether it's Brian Robeson, Everson Griffin, Linville Joseph, and the gang up front, can they get after, you know, can they get after Drew Brees, and in a big way? Because I think you have New Orleans coming home here, and, you know, I would be shocked if they don't put up at least 24 to 30 points at a minimum in this one. And Jimmy Graham, great game last week. You know, looked like the Browns made a concerted effort to take away the outside receivers of the Browns. I don't know if Minnesota has the, you know, the depth and the talent at cornerback to be able to do that. So look for Brees to be able to find Brandon Cooks, Marcus Colston in the bunch a little bit more often this week. You know, Jimmy Graham's a nightmare matchup for anyone. I know Mark Ingram's out for a while, but the Saints really like Kyrie Robinson. All right, I think you see him in more of a featured role here in this offense. You know, that's always good. That Sean Payton always seems to stockpile running backs. They always seem to have 2 or 3 guys. So when you have a guy in Ingram who is playing well, miss a game or miss a period of time here, it looks like, you know, you have guys who can step in and be as productive. And I know that I think the offense putting up 24 to 30 points in this game for New Orleans is a given. To me, it's the defense of New Orleans that's going to come into this game with an attitude and ready to get after Matt Castle, because this unit, I'm sure in their eyes, has underwhelmed the first 2 weeks. Look for Cameron Jordan and the guys up front to really get after Matt Castle. You know, we know all about the stellar safeties that the Saints have in, obviously, Jarris Byrd and Kenny Vaccaro. I would think that the way they've come out and played the first 2 weeks is just, as I said before, is just not sitting okay with them. This was a unit that is the main reason why a lot of people picked the Saints to be right in the mix there for a Super Bowl berth. And, you know, I haven't given up on the Saints yet because they come back home now with a chance to get back on track to go to 1-2. I think it's a great matchup for them because they're playing a one-dimensional team offensively in Minnesota, and a team without a good secondary. Usually when that's the case, when New Orleans gets a team like this at home, they take care of business, and I think they will in this one as well. I like New Orleans minus the 10.5 at home versus Minnesota. Guys, let me know what you think of this game with obviously Minnesota heading to New Orleans here in a tough spot for the Vikings as I see it. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks as always for listening. Be sure to check out my other previews, and have a good week.